You know, I think it's about time I did a video condemning radical liberals for a change. Radical liberal, for those who don't know, is a term used among leftists to identify self-proclaimed socialists that support the Democrats or Republicans, excuse or even straight up commend fascist dictatorships, and ostracize actual socialists and communists, socialist governments, and other leftist revolutionaries. They typically use the word tankie to describe historical figures such as Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, Fidel Castro, and Che Guevara. In particular, I know of Keffels and Vaush. Keffels is a figure that I already talked about last autumn when she had Rakita Law witch hunted and temporarily terminated off the platform after he said he'd like to see maps against the wall. Vosh is one that I haven't really said much about, but after a recent run-in with a community of radical liberals and Voshites on Reddit, which I'll get into later, I've been thinking it's probably a good time to remind RadLibs, revisionists, reactionaries, and other forms of left anti-communists that they have no business identifying as socialists. At best, they are social democrats. Vosh, if you don't know, is an online personality famous for LARPing as a socialist, but then contradicting socialist ideals and misinterpreting socialist and communist theory. Vosh appears to be just an online nickname. His real name is Ian Kokinski. He has debated right-wing figures in the past, although you'll quickly learn that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. For this video, I've decided to visit a pair of communities on Reddit known as EnoughPCMSpam, as well as Enough_Vosh_spam, because I guess there's so much Vosh spam floating around that we need two subreddits for it, but I digress. The sub with underscores in its name is the main one we'll be visiting, as it is the main subreddit. Vosh has several homophobic and transphobic statements to his name, the following clip being just one of many.
The left community online, particularly the LGBT community, is cancerous as fuck.
Vosh is a sexual harasser. He himself has admitted this and is proud of it, which this alone should be enough to write him off as a deviant. He has also argued for lowering the age of consent, and has also argued in favor of the legalization of owning child pornography.
Do you believe porn, which includes bestiality, increased the prevalence of zoophiles? Possibly, but I still don't care. I still think that, zoophile porn, like drawn stuff, it should be 100% legal. In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child pornography should be illegal.
Vosh not only refers to himself as a liberal.
Unfortunately, this is one of the many ways in which comedy is dead thanks to conservatives. You can still satirize liberals. It's very, very possible to satirize us because we're reasonable. But conservatives have obliterated our ability to engage in reasonable satire of conservatives because they will do everything that we make fun of them for. Did I say liberals? The mask slipped for a second. I mean anarchists, my fellow lefty.
But he claims that some of history's greatest revolutionaries, namely Marx and Lenin, would have voted for Biden. He at one point literally said he hates leftists and denounced leftist unity, although the source for this claim appears to have been disposed of. Questionable, I know, but do you really doubt it? Vosh is also on record using the N-word unironically. Even before viewing enough Vosh spam, I was already well aware of the drama between Hakeem and Vosh. Vosh has called Hakeem a pseudo-fascist for saying that Biden will be worse on foreign policy than Trump, which was and still is a fair assessment that in no way alludes to defending Trump. Here's a clip.
Respond to Hakeem when he responds inevitably? No! I don't care about these people. Guys, listen, tankies like Hakeem are literally a fucking cancer on online leftist discourse. They don't convert anyone. The only people they convert are fucking lefties over to pseudo-fascism.
Vosh told his followers to mock, ostracize, and drive off communists from online communities, which I personally have seen for myself that his followers are answering the call. Again, I'll get into that later. We then have Vosh posting literal pro-Nazi memes that glorified the Finnish alliance with Nazi Germany against the Soviet Union during World War II. The Soviets should not have spared Finland's sovereignty. So far this video has been another Vosh said this, Vosh did that video. But let's take a look at what his followers have said and done, shall we? This is all fairly recent, so brace yourselves for what will surely be some cringeworthy takes and other garbage opinions from the Voshist deluge. By the way, please do not go and harass these people individually. From Enough Vosh spam, we have a Twitter user defending U.S. imperialism in the Middle East. The U.S. has been known to murder people in Iraq, Syria, Libya, and Afghanistan. The people of this country have defended themselves as violence from private military contractors, and the military itself rips across their home countries to secure U.S. dominance. Although the main opponents of the U.S. are these far-right jihadists, terrorist attacks are merely used as justification for part of an even more gruesome effort to oppress the Afghani, Libyan, Syrian, and Iraqi people. Vosh claims that leftists are pro-Putin. I know that there are a few socialists on our Socialists memes, now a private community, that are rooting for Putin against Ukraine. I personally hope that Russia and Ukraine both destroy each other. No socialist has any business taking sides in inter-imperialist conflicts. This is a post by a Voshite that defends bestiality. No further comment needed. Here's a hot take. This is from a poll asking members of a Vosh Aligned sub, I believe Vosh V, though I could be wrong, if they would rather live in Mussolini's Italy, Mao's China, Stalin's Russia, or Hitler's Germany. The results were overwhelmingly in favor of Mussolini's Italy. They claimed that Mussolini's regime would be the least likely to kill them. A lot of the points against Stalin's Russia and Mao's China are CIA propaganda. Stalin's Russia had counter-revolutionaries, revisionists, reactionaries, and fascist sympathizers jailed and deported, which as you see the revisionists eventually gained power in Russia anyway through the ascension of Nikita Khrushchev to premier. Under Mao, the Chinese saw liberation from feudal landlords, common ownership of the means of production, and Mao's administration brought China into the 20th century. The way the Great Leap Forward was executed, however, saw Mao's own criticism, where he denounced it as a poorly implemented economic policy and blamed right-wing figures. Do take note that this was around the time that Deng Xiaoping's influence over China began to grow, and we all know how that went. This next one is a wall of text. Pause if you want to read it, but the OP exposed Vosh and was promptly greeted with a wall of text that spouts lies in the name of defending Vosh. Also calling OP a PCM user for no real reason, as OP claims to have never used PCM. PCM, if you don't know, is short for political compass memes, in particular the Reddit community. The drama I mentioned at the beginning of the video does have to do with PCM in addition to Voshite heckling. PCM has a reputation for having turned into a far-right echo chamber, that much I will say. The Voshite claims that Vosh only said that Biden, while not good, is at least better than Trump. This has already been debunked, as we've established that Vosh votes Democratic, supports Biden, and has claimed that Marx and Lenin would have voted for Biden. He claims that Vosh doesn't support NATO, but that he supports stopping imperialist countries from invading and conquering their weaker neighbors. Vosh responded to Hakeem by calling him a sand N-word and rooting for the US to bomb Iraq. Doesn't sound very anti-imperialist to me. Next point starts with what's wrong with loving America. I'm fucking done. Where do I even start? From oppressing the natives in the name of manifest destiny to imprisoning Japanese Americans and raping innocent Japanese women during post-war occupation and violently overthrowing socialist governments in Latin America, as well as engaging in a 10-year war against Vietnam and sending many young men to die in the jungles to defend a fascist puppet regime, also another war in which the US committed horrendous war crimes against innocent people, to its current crushing of budding left-wing governments and exploitation and destruction of the Middle East in the name of fighting terrorism, where even more innocent people are dying, and its drowning of the working class here at home, where people's income is so low that middle-aged fathers are having to move their own grown children in with their, being the man's, mother. More and more people are being reduced to living either in the slums or on the streets. Meanwhile, the people benefiting from this shit are driving around in Lamborghinis, the job market being so god-awful that the only job most people can get, regardless of age and experience, is either retail or food service, and where the housing market is so bullshit that the average household rent is over $2,000 a month. You can't have a medical emergency without insurance, otherwise you might as well fucking go untreated. My dad has a toe that's broken and infected, but he doesn't want to go to a doctor because it'll destroy him financially. Then you have to deal with police harassment, which happens for no fucking reason sometimes, even if you're white. Cops writing tickets on cars just for sitting there too long, being unable to move it because the car is dead, having to jump it so you don't have to pay the fine, being unable to renew your car tags because you don't have the money because you don't have a job, or at least not a good one, which can lead to a whole other set of problems. And now the motherfucking government is trying to roll back child labor laws, as if forcing children to work was ever needed. Meanwhile, people like me in their 20s, including people in their 30s and 40s and beyond, are still struggling to find a job because no one that pays decently wants to hire, and retail and fast food corps are too goddamn stingy to improve working conditions and raise their wages. And you have the nerve to try and gaslight someone into thinking that this country isn't an evil empire? Fuck you and every other fucking Yankee patriot. There is no other way to improve this country other than through revolution, and anyone that claims otherwise is either vain or a moderate. I should just move on from this guy, but he then defends Vosh from accusations of pedophilia. Vosh has defended owning child pornography and has stated that he supports lowering the age of consent. Invalid point. Next, he claims that Vosh has defended trans people from transphobes and debated transphobes. Vosh himself has implied that he thinks he has a better understanding of, quote, transness than actual trans people do.
Trans people do not have a better A, understanding of, and B, ability to defend transness or being trans.
So we've revealed Vaushist to be ignorant of American overseas imperialism and the kind of suffering it has caused the people of Islam practicing countries. We've revealed Vaushist to be fascist sympathizers. We've seen them accuse socialists and communists of taking sides in the Russia-Ukraine war, particularly being on Putin's side. We've seen them defend bestiality. We've seen that they are willing to, 1, lie about Vosh in his defense, defend liberalism, defend NATO imperialism, defend America despite all the horrible shit this country has done and continues to do, not just to smaller countries, but to its own citizens, and defend pedophilia. Now, for this last part of the video, I'm going to talk about my drama involving PCM and a group of radical liberals larping as leftists, which liberals kind of already think they're left-wing, don't they? This is just bonus viewing. If you want to leave here, go ahead. Be sure to check out my Patreon if you want to throw a couple bucks my way. But here goes the story. You remember that self-proclaimed hebephile that I exposed in my video talking about anime and its issue with underage fan service? I created this meme based off the political compass. It's a highlighter meme, which is used to identify which quadrant would have posted a comment or thread. The gray was for centrist, which is typically the apolitical part of the compass. Libertarian right comes in 2 forms, being yellow, which is typically the free speech, free enterprise side, and purple libertarian right, which has a reputation for supporting lowering the age of consent, legalizing bestiality, and other degenerate nonsense. At least that's how the memes portray them. So I posted my meme, and it got removed because apparently PCM has a rule against highlighter memes on weekdays. So, kind of annoyed, I posted it again and said fuck Rule 5 and got banned. So I used this as my excuse to join the side of this subreddit known as EnoughPCMSpam, and I posted about Rule 5 being gatekeeping nonsense and it being just more egregious mod bullshit, which that's what it is. Fight me. Now, I should make it known that EnoughPCMSpam sees itself as, of course, leftist, particularly being anti-fascist, but their response to me being salty about Rule 5 was like, you would have thought I defended the Holocaust or some shit, I got downvoted to hell, told to cry about it, and that I never should have been on PCM to begin with. Okay, I get it. Most shit on PCM is just stupid, and the sub has just become this libertarian left hate fest. And even the people that flare as lib-left, you have to wonder if they're faking being lib-left. But cry about Rule 5, which is such a dumb rule. It's like, for example, Alabama's law against dressing as a priest for Halloween. But here's the deal, okay? Suppose you've been out of a job for the better part of a year. And I'm using an example that happened to me personally, another example anyway, but you finally get this job after 8 months of nothing but being screwed over by an employer that fired you and left for dead by the Department of Labor of your state. You go in for your first day, but they send you home because you're not in fucking dress code. You have to wear a certain color shirt, and it has to be a certain type of shirt too, and you have to wear a certain color of jeans, and a certain type of shoes, and it just so happens to be a dress code that no one that hasn't worked with that particular employer has ever needed. You ask family members and friends if they have a shirt, jeans, or shoes that could match the dress code, but no one can help you. So you have to borrow money from your retired grandmother and go store to fucking store looking for the items of clothing. Luckily, you already own the shoes. You managed to find a shirt at a store just outside of town, and you have to go to a store in the next town over to find the pants. But it's like, imagine if you had no one to fucking borrow money from. Imagine if you didn't have a ride because your car isn't insured. Imagine if you just couldn't find the fucking shirt or pants. Oh well, guess I gotta fucking pass this job up because I can't fucking afford to work here. Because it's such a conformist hellhole that there's no room for exceptions and no mercy for first-time offenders. Maybe it's just something I get from my dad, who was pissed about having to drive to and from looking for some stupid shirt and pants, but I have no patience for cult shit like that. But imagine someone mocking you, telling you to cry a river because you're annoyed that your employer won't at least let you earn your first paycheck before enforcing the dress code. I know your livelihood is a little different from your ability to post memes on the internet, but no anti-fascist should be taken seriously if they turn around and defend elitism. You know, all I wanted to do was throw a good meme into a sea of shitty ones, and I was engulfed by a tsunami of diarrhea. But you know, come to find out that although EnoughPCMSpam may pass itself off as an anti-fascist subreddit, its users seem to have a problem with the political compass itself. I'm not entirely sure why. The compass, while not perfect, is at least better than the wing spectrum, which considers stateless anarchism as slavery, but liberal conservative oligarchy as freedom. I've never seen a community so ass backwards in my life. I do know that this video exists, but I'd really rather do something else with the 48 minutes and 43 seconds that it would take me to watch the video. But anyways, a few days pass, and I'm still resentful towards EnoughPCMSpam, but I discover the similar subreddits based on user overlap thing, and I type in the subreddit to see if my suspicions of them being a liberal front could be confirmed. And much to my pleasure, I see that they are viewers of EnoughVDSspam, which is a subreddit defending Vosh from leftists that condemn him for his transphobia, homophobia, fascist sympathy, imperial apologism, pedophilia, sexual harassment, and racism. VDS being short for Vaush derangement syndrome. It's funny because enough PCM users already show signs of political compass derangement syndrome. They also view TankieJerk, which is a subreddit mocking Stalinists and Maoists, and the people that view enough PCM seem to originate from subs like Antifa Voshtos, which I can't seem to make anything of it other than it's another Vaushist liberal stronghold, as well as forwards from Hitler, which is banned. Really makes me wonder. So this discovery made me feel validated, I guess. Still, I wish posting good memes didn't have to be such a divisive issue, but then again, this is Reddit we're talking about. Camaraderie has never been a strong suit of that platform's user base. But tell me what you guys think. Is Vosh even a leftist? Are his followers closet fascists? Am I the fool for acknowledging the political compass? Is enough PCM a reactionary community? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to click thumbs up if you like this video, share it far and wide, and please subscribe for more content like this, and click the bell to get notifications. Once again, a link to my Patreon will be in the description if you'd like to become a contributor for just $3 a month. But thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye guys.